the notion that we would try to kick out a service member, a Marine, a soldier, airman, whatever it happens to be, over an email is just absurd. When I was serving, we were in the middle of a conflict in Iraq and a conflict in Afghanistan, and we would be deploying for 12 months, 15 months, reset, have a short dwell time, go back to NTC and push down range again. And we were worried about training up soldiers to fight and win a very contested fight in Iraq and in Afghanistan. We weren't worried about emails. We were worried about IEDs as part of the military, VBIDs and counterinsurgency. That was the focus of that's the war we were trying to win in my generation of military. Anyone who served from, and I was 2002 to 2010. So the war on terror era, anyone in that military would look at this and say, this is absurd. And the reality is the panel members that we had, or the board members, were part of that era. They're senior leaders, and they look at this, and that's probably why they called BS on it. If we take that back, I can't speak to prior generations. I know my dad was a Vietnam vet, and my dad's long since passed away from lost his battle with cancer. But had my dad heard about this story as a Vietnam vet in Vietnam, he'd lose his mind. I mean, it would just say, what the hell is going on with the military? And that's where we're at now. Unfortunately, we're too busy worried about PGPs and DEI and fighting, the war on sexual assault than we are about fighting and winning America's wars. That's just my personal opinion on this. And there's a lot of discussion we can have on it. But I think the senior leadership, and this is not the NCOs, this is not the junior officers or the enlisted, they're doing everything they can for the most part, but it's the senior leadership that's really changed the position of the military. And I think it's for the worse. So I hope it changes course like most things do. But I think what I see in the military is, military's lost its way a little bit from a leadership perspective, because we're not really, we're worried more about, DEI and PGPs and how not to sexually assault someone, all of this training than we are on actually fighting and winning America's wars. And that's the problem I particularly have. Now, again, I say that sexual assault, as I've said all along, has no place in the military, but we've cast such a broad net in the military that every single allegation, as ridiculous as it is, it gets investigated, which I'm not saying shouldn't be investigated, but often it's prosecuted. And we spend all of this time and money on these ridiculous cases. And hopefully now that we have these OSTICs, these Office of the Special Trial Counsel, that those have stood up, and I think we'll see some of the weeding out of some of these ridiculous cases. We'll see. But yeah, going back to the email piece of it, when I was in the military, you would never see that. I mean, ever. But that is something that you see today, which is absurd, but that's what you see. If you're under investigation or charged with an offense under the UCMJ anywhere in the world, in particular in Asia, and you need an attorney that can fly out to you, get on the ground, and actually win your case, give me a call and we'll do a consultation. Get more information at www.bileckilawgroup.com or by contacting me directly.